took the story and condensed it, so I want to read that to you. Mother Oak hugged little acorn in her strong branches. Within you is a great oak, little acorn. Just be the tree God made you to be. When he heard this, little acorn looked at himself and said, "An oak in me?" He was so small, it was hard for him to believe he could ever be a tree. The thought of letting go and leaving the safety of his mother's branches was scary to little acorn. But the time to let go came one summer afternoon. His mother's branches swayed back and forth, and down he fell, softly slipping through the leaves until he landed. He settled in and fell asleep, and when he woke, he asked, "Have I been sleeping long? Long enough to become a small tree?" He had popped out of the dark dirt into the sunlight. He was now a little oak. As time went on, his roots stretched out, and he stood a little taller. The sky grayed and days shortened, and the whole garden slept. While little Oak slept, he dreamed. He dreamed of his days as a little acorn on his mother's branch. Deep in his sleep, he heard her soft voice. "Within you is a great oak. Just be the tree that God made you to be." When the sun warmed his branches, little Oak awoke. Only he wasn't so little anymore. He could see farther. He had grown taller and wider. The winds didn't bend him as much. His branches were as big as his trunk used to be. Little Oak was becoming Big Oak. Many years passed, and each year he grew bigger and wider, wider and bigger, until everything in the yard looked up to him. A young farmer brought 2 ropes out and tied them to one of his strong branches. A little girl watched excitedly. "Can I do it, Daddy? Can I swing?" At first she needed her daddy's help, but soon she was kicking her feet higher and higher, swinging back and forth. Big Oak loved the sound of little girl's laughter and came to love little girl. He stood strong to hold her when she climbed his trunk and shaded her when she rested in his shadow. Together they grew. Each year both taller, each year both stronger. Big Oak had become the tree that God wanted him to be. In time, little girl didn't swing so much. She sat more and played less. Little girl was becoming Big Girl. She spent many days sitting on the ground, leaning back against Big Oak's trunk and worrying about what she was supposed to be and whether she was ready for letting go. Big Oak was listening. The next time the wind blew his branches, Big Oak let one branch shake more than the others. A little acorn popped loose and landed in Big Girl's lap. Big Girl picked it up and started to toss it away, but she stopped. She held the acorn in her hand and stared at it. She turned and looked up at Big Oak. "Were you ever this small?" Answering her own question, she continued, "Of course you were. You grew into a great oak from a little acorn. All you did was become what God made you to be." She looked again at the acorn and then back at the tree. Her eyes brightened. "Do you suppose that's what God wants me to do?" Big Oak wanted to shout yes, but he didn't have to. Big Girl stood and announced, "Of course he does. Now it's time for me to let go and become the person God made me to be." Jodi has helped our foundation grow stronger and bigger, just like the oak tree in the story. And there have been times since I've been on the board that we could have chosen to hang on. And instead, Jodi's helped us push ourselves to grow in lots of different ways. Under her leadership, we did take on the strategic planning for the first time ever, and that will stay with us for years to come. We have already made changes with Joni's hours, bringing her in full time, bringing Aaron in, supporting them more, knowing that it will reap the benefits. Jodi has helped us with PR and marketing. She's helped us update our annual report and just have a consistent branding with all of our materials and messages. And she's been very instrumental in our fundraising initiatives as well. As far as fundraising goes, Jodi goes to every Golden Bear Bash. She brings new people and new supporters and donors every year. And this year, she actually showed up on crutches right after her surgery. And we found her a job where she could sit and was there for hours helping with the bash because she wouldn't miss it. So like the big oak and the little girl, Jodi has come to love the UAEF and has opened her heart from sending handwritten notes with her purple pen to opening her home and sharing her resources with us. She has given us strong branches, shade, and inspiration to help us become who we are meant to be, a foundation that creates educational opportunities for children throughout the district. Thank you, Jackie.